Hello and welcome. My name is Emily Thompson. I'm the director of the ePortfolio initiative here at Salt Lake Community College. Our ePortfolio initiative is a national leader in student reflection and how students tell the story of their learning. And it's a really exciting thing that I am eager to share with you. So, the purpose of ePortfolios here at Salt Lake Community College is to provide a repository of all of your learning experiences while you're attending classes that are in the general education designations at Salt Lake Community College. And it allows you to tell your story, showcase what's important to you, but most importantly, it also helps you to reflect on your learning and really articulate like who you are as a student in a way that can be private and not visible to the public, but can be read by your professor so that we can effectively help you and support you throughout your classes. The ePortfolio also allows you to share the treasure trove of knowledge that you've already showed up with as a student on day one at Salt Lake Community College, because we all have experiences, backgrounds, values, community stories that make up who we are. And when we bring those together and a professor is able to look at every student in their classroom, it enables us to see and support the range of perspectives and stories that we have in the space, and to imagine a future together that supports and fosters space for all of us. So I'm excited to teach you about ePortfolio. We're going to get started in this video and I'll walk you through the basics. If you ever have questions or you even just want to chat about ePortfolio and what it is, you can find me most often in AAB 126 in the ePortfolio lab at Taylorsville. All right, let's get into it. So electronic portfolios at SLCC, you can go to this site, and this just gives a basic overview and has some help site information. But I recommend going to My SLCC, where you can find your one-stop shop card on your My SLCC page. So when you get into My SLCC, you're going to find this ePortfolio card, and this has everything that you could possibly need for ePortfolios. Your very first step, and I would do this now and not wait for your professors to assign something so that you're ready to go when it's time, is create your Gen Ed portfolio. And it's a quick Microsoft form. You're just going to click on that form. And I'm going to go back one so that you see the overview page, which just says what it is. And then you'll choose, is the name in your record the name that you prefer, or do you have an updated name that we need to get? And if you have an updated name, we can help you get that updated. So you'll make that selection. And then your next step is to just make sure you choose the student button so that you create a student portfolio. They're really different templates, and you want this student one for sure. And then you'll enter your student number and your email address and click submit. Now it asks for your personal email, but it's going to go into your Bruin mail. The reason we get your personal email is so that years after you have finished your degree, we can message you when we're about to archive the portfolios so that you have a choice to say, hey, I really want to keep it open. I'm still using this, or not. So once you've filled out that form and clicked the submit button, you will receive an email in your Bruin Mail account. Now, if you're a new student, just so you know, you access your Bruin Mail account through this office card right here. And I'm just going to show you really quickly because we have a lot of really cool things to offer with Microsoft 365. So if you click into this, you'll get to your email address and you'll have an email from an account called ePortfolio. And that's going to say your ePortfolio is ready. But the other thing I just want to show you, and we won't spend a lot of time here, is this waffle on the left side of the page. As a student, you have access to all of these really cool Microsoft resources. So when you have time, get in there, play around, see what you have access to. For us, we're using SharePoint. So SharePoint is the platform that you'll make your ePortfolio on. And I'm really excited about this because it's used by over 200 million people in the workforce. And it's something that a lot of people in the workforce feel intimidated by. When you graduate from Salt Lake Community College with your generals, or even if you transfer and have taken general studies courses, you will have the skills to design a SharePoint website, which means that you can put that on your resume and go to a company. And when they're like, I don't know how to share information, you can say, oh, I've got this. I learned this at Slick and I can totally help with that. It's a marketable skill because Microsoft SharePoint is used across so many industries. So on this SharePoint page, you're going to find your ePortfolio, but you'll also have it in your email. And my favorite, within 24 to 48 hours, the system will load it so that you'll have it in this Access Submit Your Portfolio Links button. So you can just always go back there. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the General Education ePortfolio template. Once you've created your portfolio, every student gets the same template, and the template has 4 essential sections to it. The first section is your welcome page, and this is where you introduce yourself to your professors. To edit it, you just click this edit button with the pencil next to it, and then you can change out the picture. It's really easy to make edits to the picture. You can just click this change button, you can upload it, you can use stock images. So lots of cool options. The one thing I would say, don't use OneDrive, because OneDrive accepts the permissions that you have in your OneDrive, and those for students are defaulted to private. So you might install a picture from your OneDrive, but it won't be visible. So instead use that upload button if you've got your own picture that you're adding. Okay. So it's pretty simple. You go in, you update the page, you can add your overview. You'll just hop in there and type information. It'll save as you go. And when you're done making your edits, all you have to do is click the republish button and you'll be finished with that first page. The My Goals page is meant to be for you and possibly working with advisors. It really helps you think about and set some goals. While I'm a student, these are the things I want to complete for this semester. Those would go under short term. And then these are my long-term goals, maybe for completing my degree or even a 5-year plan. So you set those goals and then you have those touch points to keep coming back to throughout your studies. You also have the My Pathway section where you can plug in the courses you took each semester and reflect on, hey, I took these courses, it was really interesting, I was so fascinated by this field that I might even think about changing my major. And that can then help you have that conversation with your advisor to see if the program is right or what it would take to shift programs. The coursework page is the page where you're going to do the bulk of your work. So every gen ed course that you take is in a designation, like social sciences, humanities, quantitative literacy is where you would find math courses. So on this coursework page, as you scroll down, you'll see that we've already built a page for every designation, and you just have to click on it, and you go in and you edit that page based on what your professor has asked of you. The final section is the learning outside of class section. And this is where you might talk about club activities that you engage in, if you do volunteer work outside of school, if you work outside of school. This is where you can really talk about what are my hobbies and talents? What are my volunteer experiences? And how do these help connect to what I'm studying and trying to accomplish while at Salt Lake Community College? Okay. I want us to focus on the coursework page because that's the one that you'll really be doing the bulk of your work in. So every general education class that you take at Salt Lake Community College is going to require 2 things. It has a signature assignment, and that signature assignment showcases your learning in that course in the way that the professor has kind of mapped it out for you. And the cool thing about signature assignments is it helps us get beyond testing students, and it helps us instead say, how can you demonstrate your learning in a way that is connected to real world experiences or helps you use technology that you might use in your job? How can we make sure that it's meaningful and relevant to you instead of just a multiple choice test that you would go through? So you'll upload that signature assignment to the page along with a reflection. So let's just click on Fine Arts so that you can see how that would work. When you're in the course page, you'll click on the edit button with the pencil, and then you can scroll down. You can add your name. So I'll add mine here just as a demo. And what's really cool is when you add your name, it then has a pop-up that shows all kinds of cool information, like the most recent things you've worked on, contact information, so that your professor can quickly reach out to you. It's kind of a cool workforce productivity setup. You can add in your course description. You can type it directly here. Actually, I'm going to do that because I like it better. And this will help me show you how easy it is to edit. And then you can just delete the box below, and then you don't have that duplicative boxing. So you would just highlight the text, paste in what you want instead. These videos are here to help. If you don't find it useful, you can delete it. If you delete something and then regret it, you can use the undo button up top to bring it back. And then down here in the second section, you've got the place for the signature assignment. So once you've clicked that edit button, you'll just be able to add a file. Always use the upload option. for adding a file. When you do that, it automatically imports the file into your site, and it makes it so that everybody who's viewing the site can see it. And that site is accessible to faculty and staff who would support students at SLCC only. Other students can't see your site unless it's set up in a course, and you've already talked about that with your professor. So use that upload button to pull in your assignment. And then below, you have the reflection section. You can just type in your reflection and share what your experience was based on a prompt that your professor will typically provide. Each class might have different priorities for understanding student learning, so pay really close attention to the assignment instructions and what your professors are asking of you. All right, let's go ahead and republish that, and then you're all set. Your page is ready to be shared with your professor. You can share the page with your professor by just copying the link at the top of the page and posting it into the assignment section in your Canvas course. Professors also use that tool here where they can actually see, they get a roster with a link of all of the portfolios. So you want to make sure that your professor has your portfolio link so that they can review the information. Okay, I think that covers the most important info. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about, which is what if I make a mistake in my portfolio, or what if I accidentally delete a page, or what if something goes wrong? So at the bottom of your portfolio, you have this really cool site pages. And because Microsoft is used in the workforce, they're really designed for iterative processes, meaning they expect us to make mistakes and have to revise and fix and adjust. And so when you go to site pages, you have a really cool thing called the version history. So I'll just hover over Fine Arts here. And this is how you'll access it, is just hover over the page and click on the 3 dots. And then you have this thing called version history. And it shows all of the different versions of a document. So you can restore an older version. If you regret a change or you want to adjust it, you'll just hover over this little triangle and click restore. And if you want to check it before you restore it, well, that didn't give us what we wanted, so let's go back and do this again. If you want to look at it before you restore it, I think you can just click on it. Yes, and then it'll show you what the page looked like, so you can make that informed decision before you bring it back. The other thing I would say is if you ever accidentally delete something, you can always go to your site contents, and that's under this settings gear here, and check the recycle bin, and then you can just bring it back from the recycle bin so that you can restore it. And we don't have anything here right now, but if we did have something, there would be a restore button up top that you could just bring back. Okay, those are the basics. Oh, yes, that's it. All right, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to come visit us in one of our ePortfolio labs. You can find those labs here. You can schedule an appointment, or AAB 126 Redwood is my office, and I'm there as often as I can be. So you're welcome to drop by, talk about the ePortfolio initiative, share your ideas, grab a cup of coffee on your way to class, or even just to come study and hang out in a space where I think people are really kind and really like to talk about learning at the college. Have a beautiful day and welcome to the ePortfolio experience. I hope it is a wonderful thing for you. Take care.